And it really didn't go that way. It was a completely unlimited role because it was all about experiencing the human condition on every possible level the writers could think of. And the holodeck was a part of that for my character, was experiencing what it was like to be Sherlock Holmes or a Three Musketeer or a Christmas Carol or all kinds of things. It was a great experience. Yes, ma'am.
So your character Data had
Jasmine, right? Yeah.
Had a cat.
I had a cat.
So my question would be.
Data had a cat. I did not.
So my question would be: was it difficult working with a cat? Try to get to do what was supposed to, and do you have any pets in your life?
I have a dog. I have a Weimaraner. Sweetest girl you've ever met. And I've had dogs. I had 2 Bernese Mountain Dogs. I had 2 Golden Retrievers. I love dogs. Enough said. Working with a cat is impossible. You don't want to work with a cat. They bring these trainers who are cat wranglers, they call them. And they're really... They say they can get the cats to do what they want them to, but they really can't. So I used to dread the scenes that we had to play when Spot was working with. Spot was one of the worst actors I've ever seen. I'm sure a great person, but a terrible, terrible actor. And, there was only one time in the entire series that Spot did what they wrote. And it was written, stage direction was written, Spot eats tuna out of it. Spot did it on the first take. Yes, sir?
Is there any practical jokes on the series that you always lay on each other that you can remember that were memorable?
You know what? That's a complete illusion. We never did that. I'm serious. People laugh when I say, but we did not do practical jokes. What Marina says we did, but Marina, she makes stuff up because she... And so she's made up all of these practical jokes, but there were no practical jokes. Everybody was funny, everybody was clowning all the time, but there really weren't. Nobody did practical jokes on each other.
There was something about her dog that was said.
Oh, her dog, but yeah, that wasn't a practical joke. When she brought her little dog, she had this little dog this big called Skilaki, and a Greek term that means little dog. It really does. It means little dog in Greek. How creative can you get?
Different language.
She called her football. Anyway, we decided to play football with little Skilaki. Dawn and I picked up Skilaki and I said, Michael, go on. But he threatened to put Skilaki in the microwave. I did not. That wasn't really a joke. He actually wanted to cook Skilaki.
Vegetarian though?
He's now a vegetarian. He wasn't then. No, he wouldn't eat anything back then. Clearly. Yes, sir.
Hey, Brent.
Hey.
Welcome to your YouTube video, your website.
Yeah.
Interview on a show called Coast to Coast AM.
Coast to Coast AM?
Yeah, it's the #1 radio show in its spot. It's on from midnight to 4 a.m. It's got a huge following and love interviewing actors like yourself who's involved in shows like Star Wars, science fiction. And yeah, I'm sorry. I know I'm saying.
Okay, I gotta go now. Yeah.
I'm looking towards the future, not the past.
No, I appreciate that. You're working for me.
Yeah. You want to check it out because every interview they have, their websites will blow up.
Coast to Coast AM?
Yeah, it's the number one show on the radio. It's my spot.
Well, I see a lot of nodding heads, but how do I get in touch with it? I don't have an agent, as I told you. If you're listening. What's that?
George Norrie is the guy that usually does it. But it's go to coasttocoastam.com.
Okay.
And you'll find the information. I bet if you just call them up, you play an interview, and I guarantee you.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call them up. And I'm going to say, oh, I'm Brent Spiner's publicist. Spiner? Star Trek? Well, thank you very much. I'm going to do that. Coast to Coast AM, and whoever they interview, thousands and thousands of people go to their website. Go to their millions. Coast to Coast AM. I'm surprised I've never spoken to them.
Midnight to 4 a.m. Most of them are asleep, but
They're on at midnight. Midnight till when?
midnight to 4 a.m. Believe it or not, but they've got a huge following.
All right, I'll try that. Coast to Coast. Somebody write that down for me.
Twitter.
Oh yeah, just send it to. I bet there's a Coast to Coast AM Twitter. Coast to Coast AM, probably there's a Twitter. I wonder who has more followers, them or me.
You.
You know what? I have on Twitter. You guys do Twitter?
Yeah.
I have, or I had, at most, I've lost a few in the last few days because of some controversial stuff that's been going on. But I had 1,380,000 people who follow my Twitter. So when I started doing my web series, I thought, I'll just put it out there and I'll get at least 1 million people of my... It doesn't work that way. I found out that when you tweet something, less than 5% of your total followers see it, and it's gone in half an hour. And because there's so many other things that come. So you have to keep doing it over and over and over. And then the people who actually do follow you all the time, Tabitha, say things to you like, look, enough of, you keep promoting your show, enough of that. You know, people do know that. And they don't realize that you have to, and every time I do, there's another 2,000 or 3,000 people who watch the show. So if you follow me, please forgive me for doing that, but I'm going to keep doing it. Dang it. Pardon me for cursing. Anyway, yes, sir.
My kids are a little bit young to remember too much about Star Trek, so when they saw you, hope this doesn't humble you too much, that's the farting guy on Master of Disguise.
Right. Were you about to ask me to do that right now?
They would probably like to hear maybe some experiences from that movie.
You know, that movie, let me think of what the most interesting thing that happened on that movie. Master of Disguise, I don't know if you ever saw it. No. Certainly one of the worst movies ever made.
Why didn't you see it?
I've made worse.